Maybe the most important building in the ancient world, a Roman baths, central to Roman identity and culture, and at some point, just in the city of Rome, had around 356 in operation. But what are these structures? This is what we're gonna investigate while we explore a recent discovery of an amazing bath discovered in Spain. If you like videos about the ancient world, history, ancient life and myths, as well as new discoveries, subscribe to our channel. It was by the contact with the Greeks that the habit of bathing was introduced to Roman daily life and customs. Before that, the Romans used to wash on a daily basis only the arms and legs after a regular working day, and really only washing their whole bodies just every 9 days. After the custom of daily baths started to take on, the early Romans used to swim in the Tiber River in order to bathe themselves. And some of the more wealthy started to build in their own houses a room called lavatrina, where they could occasionally take a hot bath. This room is what we know nowadays as the lavatory or the bathroom of the house. Later, in the 2nd century BC, the first public bathhouse was opened. Now, every Roman from every class could take daily baths and look presentable. The public baths weren't just a place where you clean yourself, but also was a place to socialize, gossip, and conduct business. You can imagine it as something in between a public pool and a public sauna nowadays. The public bath and the daily bathing becomes something fundamental in what differentiates what is being Roman in contrast of being barbarian. So, by 33 BC, there was as many as 170 small public baths in Rome, and by the early 5th century AD, the number had climbed to at least 356 baths. To support the baths, which needed a lot of water, the Romans built more aqueducts to provide more water, and by doing so, creating extensive aqueduct systems all over the Roman domains. Nowadays, these aqueducts are almost a trademark of what a Roman city should be, and a signal for the other peoples of how a civilization should look like. A place where there is water available everywhere to anyone to drink and use in the fountains, and even to bathe themselves every day. But the real revolution happened when the Romans invented the hypocaust at the end of the 2nd century BC. The hypocaust is a type of central heating system which was most commonly used in a Roman building. Before the hypocaust, there is evidence of other floor heating systems, but eventually this system became the most popular one. Its invention is sometimes credited to a man called Sergius Orata. He was an ancient Roman who was a successful hydraulic engineer, merchant and inventor. He was also known for inventing a method for cultivation of oysters. But he is more well known by the invention of the hypocaust. His system for heating a room, which basically worked by circulating hot air from below of a room through the walls. The hypocaust had a furnace which produced hot gases which were allowed to circulate under the floor of the baths, and the ceiling of the hypocaust was supported by pillars called pila stacks. These pillars were made of a layer of tiles followed by a layer of concrete under a repetition of this pattern up to the floor tiles of the room above. They lifted the floor in a space of approximately 60 centimeters. The heating process started when the hot air and the smoke from the furnace would circulate through the enclosed space and then up to the clay or the tile flues, into the walls of the rooms and above through the vents into the roof. This process resulted in the heating of the floors and the walls of the rooms above. As bathing became a cultural phenomenon because of the hypocaust, the Romans could avoid a cold bath, which couldn't never gain popularity, as a good hot bath eventually got. The Romans really invested in, developed, and ultimately perfected this technology. In the region of Andalusia in Spain, a group of archaeologists of the University of Cadiz announced a discovery from the Roman period. The team of archaeologists uncovered an extensive complex of Roman baths. It was buried under the sand dunes of Andalusia for over 2,000 years. The complex had walls nearly 4 meters tall. At the moment, only 2 rooms were excavated near the coast of the beach of Caños de Meca. The experts estimate that once the entire complex extended over an area of 2.5 acres, the remains of the walls show rooms which are richly decorated with red, white, black stucco and the finest marble. Also, when the survey was being done on the walls, the archaeologists discovered how remarkably the double walls of the structure were preserved. The double walls were another common trait of the Roman baths used for the steam passed through. The Romans took over in the 2nd century BC the Iberian Peninsula, roughly a region which comprises of nowadays the countries of Spain and Portugal. The area originally was colonized by Celts and Carthaginians, but saw a great influx of Roman migration and as a result became highly Romanized. The Roman influence on the region is the dominant one, even after the fall of the Roman Empire and the area being conquered by other peoples like the Germanic Goths and the Muslim Moors. The region retained mostly of the Roman language and culture. And as a very important part of this culture were the public baths. The Roman leaders established public baths in the Roman style all over the Roman territory. You can find public baths basically anywhere where the Romans set foot, from Britain to North Africa to Syria and even in Germany. But going back to our discovery, there was more to be found in that area in Spain. At approximately half kilometer down the coast, at the Cape of Trafalgar, researchers discovered 2 more ancient treasures, a collection of at least 7 Roman-era salting pools and a 4,000-year-old Bronze Age tomb. Both the pools and the tomb were preserved under the sand dunes for thousands of years in the same way the bath complex was. The salting pools were used to prepare foods, including a famous fermented fish sauce called garum, that were so loved by the Romans that probably deserve their own video about it. While the construction of the Bronze Age tomb attracted attention by its intact structure, inside the tomb the researchers found at least 7 corpses. Among these corpses, the archaeologists found a complete skeleton of a woman of adult age, and her skeleton was decorated with a green necklace made of beads, 2 small gold earrings, and a bone comb. Also, at the same site, the archaeologists found more recent parts of history, including medieval ceramic remains that were likely crafted during the 2nd and 3rd centuries. The specialists believe that this discovery will help them to learn more about the various fishing communities that have thrived throughout the centuries along the southeastern coast of Spain. Those discoveries indicate that this area was very attractive for many types of civilizations and is giving us great pieces of history. Not far from the location also were found ancient Roman amphoras. They were found at a fisherman's shop, being used as a decoration of his storefront. His son had found them in one of their fishing trips and decided to bring them to decorate their shop. It was 13 amphoras, all of them were confirmed to be nearly 2,000-year-old artifacts from the Roman era. One great example of a Roman bath complex is the Baths of Caracalla in Rome. This impressive structure was built somewhere between 212 and 235 AD and is located in the southern area of the city of Rome. It is very likely that the construction of the baths was initiated by the Emperor Septimus Severus and was later concluded by his son, the Emperor Caracalla. The construction was modified with additional decorations by Caracalla's successors Elagabalus and Severus Alexander. All complexes were situated on 100 square meters, with the walls as high as 40 meters. The building was heated by a hypocaust. The baths were free and open to the public. Another example of an impressive, well-preserved Roman bath we can see nowadays is the one in the city of Bath, in the county Somerset in England. This bath is considered as one of the most famous Roman baths. The place was constructed as a temple between 60 and 70 AD, and the Romans converted it into a bath complex bit by bit in a span of 300 years. The baths were used until the 5th century AD. According to the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, the original construction of the baths were in ruins a century later, but was redeveloped a few times in early and late Middle Ages. What left of the Roman baths are a water reservoir called Sacred Spring, the Roman temple itself, the Roman bathhouse, and some artifacts which are stored in the Roman Baths Museum. Why you think the Roman baths were so important for the Roman culture? And also, why you think in the medieval times most of them become abandoned to the point they are nowadays ruins? The public baths were in every Roman city. Every citizen could take a bath, relax, and socialize, and all of this was entirely free of charge. And how about you? Would you like to have a Roman bath in your city? Leave your comment in the comment section below. If you enjoy videos about history and new discoveries, like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated on our upcoming videos. If you found the story interesting, feel free to share the video on Facebook, Reddit or other social media to help this channel grow. TB Grátis Pro Vigilabo.